Hi guys, so my name's Chris Marco Flores, and today I want to talk about exercises for challenges and why I put it into my program and why it's so different from anyone else's program. And this is for people who are trying to escape a body that they feel trapped in. They may be really overweight or overweight and tried numerous weight loss plans, exercise programs. They may have lost a bit of weight within these programs but always end up putting it back on or putting more back on and being in a worse position when they first started. So what I'm going to talk about over this next year, I'm putting myself through my own program, and the reason why I put myself through my own program is because I used to be incredibly fit a few years ago, and doing some of these challenges would be a walk in the park. So a few years ago, a half marathon, I could have woke up and done a half marathon, it would be no problem, but it wouldn't be very hard, and mentally it wouldn't be hard for me because I'm so mentally strong and physically fit. But over the years, ironically enough, as becoming a personal trainer, I've spent so much time trying to create a business, but also trying to help other people's lives and get their life health better than it is or was. And I kind of neglected my own health because I felt fit enough and healthy enough, so I was on a maintain stage. However, I wasn't maintaining, I was actually doing the opposite. I wasn't exercising enough, I wasn't training enough, I wasn't eating the right foods, I was doing all the opposite things I should have done. So my fitness has gone down, my health has gone down, and for me, all of these challenges at the moment, I do not feel ready to do. So what I want to talk about, I'm going to be doing 8 challenges over the year, because I put 8 challenges within a year of my program, which is called Impossible to Possible. And I've listed 4 of the challenges that I'm doing over the next coming months. And then I want to talk about a few things. One, I want to talk about a mantra, which was taught to me by an Olympic athlete. 2, I want to talk about music, the pros and cons of music with exercising and training with exercising. And 3, how am I doing, what am I doing, why am I doing, what I'm doing for my next challenge. So my next challenge is the half marathon, which I'm going to go into more depth and explain exactly how I'm training for it. So before I go into it, I've got 4 challenges. I've got half Ironman, I've got 15k mud run, I've got if I said half Ironman, that meant half marathon, 15k mud run, half Ironman, and my last challenge is a 6-pack, or the 4th challenge is a 6-pack. Now these challenges are meant to be challenges that you do not feel ready for, and you do not feel ready you can complete. The reason being, it helps expand your mind, and when you do things that you feel like you cannot complete, it just helps create a spiral effect, and it makes you want to do more than you think you can imagine. So, and the reason why I put challenges in place is because when people are trying to escape a body that they feel trapped in, normally they're focused on too little, which is only exercising or only nutrition, or sometimes it's just both, which is great and which they should be focusing on. However, if you're only focused on these 2 little things, they're not 2 little things, but 2 things only, then you're completely revolved around these 2 things, and it becomes monotonous, and it also becomes boring, and it also becomes quite tedious and time consuming, and it's not convenient, it interferes with your lifestyle. So it's only a matter of time that you cannot wait to go back to your original lifestyle, which is probably no exercise or very little exercise, and very poor nutrition. So the reason why I put challenges is because it shifts your mindset. It shifts you to focus on something of the bigger picture. Because if you're training for something like this and you're not ready for it, and you're training for a half marathon, and you've got a deadline to do that half marathon, and for me it's only 3 weeks away. So if you're struggling to run like 10k, which I am at the moment, to run 10k for a half marathon, then you know you have to get your feet on the road, your bum in the gym. You have to eat for performance, because if you don't, you're going to struggle a lot when you do that challenge. So the nutrition and exercise become the secondary thing, because the challenge is the main focus, and you're trying to focus on completing the challenge what has a deadline. So but the reason why I've got a 6-pack in, is because I don't care about 6-packs, and I don't really care about size zeros, and I don't care about getting people into 6-pack size zeros. However, as I've been saying that message to people are saying, it's probably because you cannot get a 6-pack and you're not sure how to do so. So it's not my main priority. My main priority is get my health on track. So I'm going to do these things, and by the time I've done the half Ironman, I am going to be in a much fitter place than I am right now. And then I'm going to completely explain and break it down exactly how to get a six pack, the nutrition wise, the exercise wise, and completely broadcast it to you all, show you the results, show you that I know what I'm talking about and how to do it, and you can follow and do exactly what I do to help you. So that's just to show you I know what I'm talking about and I can practice what I preach. So that's just kind of a side challenge. However, so my next challenge is a half Ironman. However, what I've got to keep in mind is in a couple of months' time, well, 3 months' time to be exact, I've got a half Ironman. And a half Ironman consists of running, swimming and cycling, and a lot of all of it. So you do a 1.2 mile swim, you do a 50 something mile cycling, and you do a 14-mile run. So I have to keep them in mind and I have to kind of train them even though they're not my next challenges. So what I'm focused on now is two things. As my running is so poor, it used to be incredibly good, and I read this book once where this man who was previously in the army, I was in the army too, and he left for quite a long time, but he wanted to join back into the army and join the SAS. And when I was reading it, he said he had to start his training from the beginning, which was run just for 1 mile, and then try and run for 2 miles, and then try and run for 3 miles. And when I was reading it, I was at a very fit stage, and when I was reading it, I was like, he's only trying to run 1 mile and he's trying to join the SAS. I'm like, he probably should run a lot more, like 10 miles. But now I'm in that shoes of that person of the book, because I was so naive and I was so fit and I didn't really put into perspective people who wasn't as fit. Now I'm at that stage. I'm struggling to do 10k and I've got a half marathon in 3 weeks. But I've also got to keep in mind the Ironman. So what I'm doing, I'm focused on two things only. I'm putting a lot of swimming in, so I'm swimming every other day, a mile swim, which is quite a strong aspect to me and it's quite easy and it's kind of a secondary exercise to me. But what a very hard exercise at the moment is running. So I'm just trying to concentrate on my running for the half Ironman, up to the Ironman. And then after I finish the half Ironman, I will incorporate a lot of cycling. So at the moment, I'm only doing running, swimming, in the gym, strength and conditioning, and that's it. So I'll come on exactly how I'm going to do that. But the next thing we want to talk about is a mantra, and it was taught to me by an Olympic athlete. His name's called Neil Faki. He's a brilliant guy. He's about 5'2". He's won 17 gold medals. I think it's like 19 gold medals now since the last time we had a conversation, and he's broke 2 or 3 world records. So it's very good information. No high quality video, so I'm going to have to pause it, wipe it off, write down what I'm going to put next, and then I'll put you back in. So give me a second. So real quickly, mantras. Mantras are so powerful if you don't know what mantras are. And what it is they're like little sayings that help you stay motivated. And I normally have different sayings for different things throughout the time. So, and normally they're between 3 to 4 words. So you can have any one you want. You can make them up yourself. And you can look out for other mantras which help you throughout your journey. So over this next 4 weeks, these are my next 4 mantras for me, and have it in different ways. So 1 is for the training aspect. 2, I've got a business that I'm trying to create and make amazing. So I've got different mantras for that. So whilst I'm training, I'm just going to share with you the training mantras I have. So first of all, 1 is train hard, fight easy. That actual mantra was when I was in the army. I didn't even know it really was a mantra. It was just a saying that I used to keep in my head. And the aim is to train harder than you fight, and then when you come to fight, it's going to be easy. However, there's a limit to that, which I'll explain. So if you are trying to race, running for a race which is 3 miles long, and the aim is you will want to train at 6 miles, so you want to try and run 6 miles as fast as you can. So when it comes to do the 3 miles, it's going to be a lot easier because you train for 6 miles, so 3 miles is half of what you normally do. So you should be able to run it faster. If you used to do a boxing match and you had your boxing match was going to be 2 rounds or 3 rounds or 2-minute rounds, then train 3-minute rounds for 6 rounds every session, and then when you go to fight, it's going to be half of what you trained, so it's going to be a lot easier. Well, it's still going to be hard as hell. However, it's going to be a lot easier than if you was to only train for 2 minutes for 3 rounds. However, the limit that I'm talking about is if you're doing a half Ironman is 1.2 mile swim, 50k bike ride. It's a 50-mile bike ride and a 40-mile swim or run. Sorry, 40-mile swim run. So if you train like double that, which is 2-mile swim or 2.4 mile swim, it's a 100-mile cycle and a 28-mile run every time, you're going to damage your body like a lot. So the idea is you got to train your mindset hard. So every time you have a training, you want to push your mindset. So what I will do is there's a couple of things. First of all is I'll just train for an hour. Within that hour, I'm going to push myself as hard as I can within that hour. So every time in that hour, I'm going to be like, I want to quit within that hour because of the way I'm training. And then once I'm used to that, I'm then going to train for 2 hours, because you're going to be, when you do this event, it's going to be roughly about, I'm not sure what the time, roughly about 8 hours, 6 hours or something like that of actual exercising. So you've got to condition your body to be able to train that amount of time. So there's obviously a limit. So I'm not going to be running that far, and I'm not going to be running half a marathon before I do half a marathon. I'm just going to push myself for every single run. For example, today I've done my third run before the half marathon. And what I'm doing is I started at 1 kilometre, trying to run for 1 kilometre, and then I'd walk half a kilometre, run a kilometre, walk half a kilometre, run a kilometre. The next session, that was on a Monday, so Wednesday, my next session, I ran 2 kilometres, walked half a kilometre, run 2 kilometres, walked half kilometres. And today, which is Sunday, I'm running 3 kilometres, but I'm walking 1 kilometre. So very quick pace of time, I'm increasing. So my next session, I'm going to be running 4 kilometres and reducing the walk. So I'm only going to walk half a kilometre, so I'm just forcing myself to get to the next stage. And this is where the one mantra comes in, which is, can you walk? So when I'm running, I feel like I want to stop. Like I want to stop, I want to give up. You know, it's just like, you might as well stop now, don't bother doing it. You know, you can run in a minute. So when I say to myself, can you walk? Meaning, can your legs move? Is your legs like falling off? Are they broken? And if the answer is no, and I can still put one foot in front of the other, then I just got to keep going, keep going, keep going. So I keep going, keep running, keep running, keep running. And then I get it again, it hits into your mind tries to play tricks on you. That's why you've got to kind of ignore your mind sometimes like a bad friend. And it'll say, stop running, Chris. And then I use the mantra, can you walk? And if my legs go one front of the other, keep going, keep going, keep going until you hit your goal. So that's one mantra, and it works really well. The second one, or the next one, is moment of weakness. So same again. When I feel like quitting, it's like quit, you know, just walk, stop running. You can walk, you run in a minute. And your mind plays all sorts of tricks with you. And then I say to myself, you're having a moment of weakness, you're having a moment of weakness. So I just keep running and it goes. And then weirdly enough, you feel quite good. And then quickly afterwards, you have that again. So it's real battles. And the last one I have is monk-like discipline. So this morning when I woke up, I woke up, I wasn't tired. It was Sunday, so it's my day off, kinda, even though I'm doing this. But it's my day off. And I didn't want to get out of bed, and my body was telling me, you know, run tomorrow. Don't do it today, run tomorrow. And it's trying to put me off, and it's trying to do everything it can to make me not run. And that's why you've got to say monk-like discipline. Monk-like discipline. You have a monk-like discipline mindset or mantra, and just get your feet on the ground, put your shoes off, get to the destination where you need to start running, get out, stretch, just start running. And then I feel great that I do it. You know, it's a great accomplishment that you did it. However, a few hours ago, I would have done anything or found any excuse not to do it. And I'm someone who's a fitness professional. I've been in 2 armies, so I've got a very good mindset, and I still get these feelings. So mantras are very powerful. Create some mantras for different situations and try and live by them. Put them up around somewhere. So if you're like me and you're in bed and you can't get up, put monk-like discipline. Put it somewhere where you can see. So you wake up, you can look at it, monk-like discipline. And subliminally in the back of your head, it will tell you everything you need to do. Get your feet on the ground, shoes on, get out. So the next thing I want to talk about is the music. Very quickly, the pros and cons. Because there's very good pros, but there's also very good cons. Once again, I'm going to pause the video, wipe the board, come back. Okay, I'm recording. So, music, pros and cons. Very quickly, 1, the things that you listen to. 2, becoming dependent on it. So, if you're someone who likes listening to music when you train, it has a very good beneficial to it. So if one of the reasons I feel like I've become so fast previously when I was fit was because of the music I was listening to. So if you train and you're training for speed and you're trying to get faster in a race or something, depending on what you listen to will depending on how fast you will run. So if you're listening to something like Adele, which is amazing, and I love Adele, and she's probably one of the best music to listen to relax with. However, if you're trying to run and you're trying to gain your speed, listening to Adele, it's going to put you into a different world. So you'll start slowing down on your run, and you'll just be in a cruising pace. But if you listen to something fast and fast paced in that's got a very good beat to it and a very fast beat, you would naturally run to that beat. So if it's got a beat that's like do, 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 your feet will end up running at them beats naturally. Okay, if the pace is faster, like do, 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 you might not run at every pace, but your pace is going to be a lot more faster than just a slow music. So I'll tell you the two things that I listen to when I do any kind of training. If I'm training for a performance, there's two types. If you're training performance and if you're trying to rest. If you're trying to rest and you're just doing a recovery training, then Adele music is amazing because you're not really trying to break a sweat. You're just trying to recover. You put her sort of music on and it just puts you into a different world and it makes you feel great. But if you're performing, the two music I'm listening to at the moment is I just use YouTube and I always type in remix. So one, I put Eminem remix, and that at the top at the moment is a very good one. Two, I put shuffle. I don't put remix in it. There's actually quite a few different tracks on there. They're like hour-long tracks, and that's really good music. And the last one, which I found out today, which is Bounce remix. You put Bounce remix in it. It puts some good, fast-paced music onto it. So when you're feeling painful and tired, the music will help kick you in. So that's the pros of music, but also depending on what you're listening to is going to determine the kind of performance you're going to create. The second thing, and it's the most important thing, is you become dependent on it. If you listen to music every time you train, also there's another thing, every time you train, then if you try and train without music, it becomes next to impossible. So every single week, because you should train at least 3 times a week, you need to train without music. So once a week, every week, you need to train without music. And if you're in a gym that has music in the background, there's not much you can do about it, but you don't have any initial music into your ears. Or you could just go outside and do your running or training outside. Because if you train every time, it will become dependent. Also, another thing is when you train with music, if you do rely on internet, then if it stops whilst you're training or you hit a dead zone and it cuts out, it will cut your rhythm. It will cut your rhythm. So if you're running at a fast pace and the music stops, you will also stop because you'll stop and you'll try and get that music back into track, and you'll continue to play. Or if you, like when I first started, I started using YouTube. It was in my pocket and it kept hitting my pocket and it kept skipping the tracks and it kept messing up my rhythm. That also messed up the rhythm. So there's a few little things you need to do. One, you can download the music. Download the music so it then doesn't interfere. It doesn't matter. You don't need internet connection for it to happen. Also, there's things that you can download on your phone where you have like a little button in the corner and it disables everything. So you put the music on, you hit this button, and then it disables everything. The music plays in the background, so it doesn't matter what touches on your pocket. You have to put your thumbprint onto it before you can alter anything of the music. So, and also the type of headphones you have. If you had headphones that are always popping out your ears, then that's going to disturb you. So I get them like big bug headphones, put over your head, and they're brilliant. Wireless, even better they are, because they stick on your head. They're not going to fall out your ears. They connect you, so the wire is not going to be tangled into your body, and it's not going to be yanking your phone out. My pockets are zipped up within the music, and then you can go. However, once a week, train without music, so you understand you can train without music, and if you do that, when you train the music, it becomes a bonus. So that's quickly. The next thing, I'm going to go straight into it. What am I doing, how am I doing it, and why am I doing the stuff for the half Ironman that you can do straight away if you wish. So give me a second, quick little rub, back onto it. Right, so this is the big chunky bit. This is where you want to get your pen and paper out. So, first of all, why am I doing, what am I doing, how am I doing, and when am I doing the things that I'm doing to try and achieve the half marathon or get myself as ready as possible, because I'm not going to be ready when I'm doing it, but I want to prepare as much as possible, plan as much as possible, exercise as much as possible, or when I need, eat for performance, and everything follows. And if you do this sort of stuff and you're trying to lose weight, I can promise you, you will shred the weight off you. However, I've got to keep on horizon that I'm doing a half Ironman, because that's no joke. That is no walk in the park. So I need to incorporate some sort of swimming, cycling. But as I said earlier, I'm not too worried about the cycling at the moment, which I'll incorporate straight after this training session. And then the six pack, I don't need to worry about that. You know, it's very simple. It's not easy to accomplish because it takes a lot of mindset, because you have to turn away a lot of things that you used to. You have to really plan. You have to really break down the nutrition. So, but it's very simple. It's very, very simple, but it's not easy. So let's jump into it. I started training on the 7th of January 2019, back into training properly. My half Ironman, or half marathon shall I say, is on the 3rd of March. So that is not long. It's very little time to go from, my fitness wasn't completely bad, but it was nowhere near ready for half marathon. So the way it worked is, in my program there's 4 different levels of exercising. The first level is, which I started on the 7th of January, is just easing yourself back into fitness, getting yourself into the mindset that your body's going to be training 5 days a week, every week for the rest of your life. So I was a bit extreme, but it's actually quite true. So all you do within that 1 week, if you are new to exercising, I'll help you here, and you have not done any exercising for a while or ever, then all you need to do is walk for 1 hour, swim for an hour, cycle for an hour, and just try and fill that 1 hour gap. Because even just to do the walking, swimming and cycling, it is going to feel tedious, and it's going to feel probably slightly boring. It's going to feel worthless. It's going to be hard to do it, hence why you need a mantra to get yourself into it. But you do that, and you do it for up to 3 weeks. I only done it for 2 weeks because I don't need to do it for 2 weeks. And I've done a little bit more than walking, because I am capable of doing more than walking, because my fitness levels is a little higher. So all I done was 5 days a week, and I knew I was training for the half Ironman. I've done something called fartlek training, and what it is it's on and off, basically on and off. So what I did, I just jumped on a treadmill in a gym, which was called Box Gym, or Gym Box, what's it called in London. And for 5 minutes, I'd walk on a treadmill, and then I'd run for 5 minutes, I'd walk for 5 minutes, and I'd run for 5 minutes. And I'd repeat that until the hour's up. Sometimes I do it up until 50 minutes, so because afterwards, I always like to incorporate a little bit of abs and push-ups and 3 different things. I try and hit 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 dorsal raises, which does your chest, abs, and your back, which is strength and conditioning every session. And if you do that enough, then it just feels like a bypass, and 100 push-ups, sit-ups, and dorsal raises will feel like nothing. So for 2 weeks, I walk 5 minutes, run for 5 minutes, walk 5 minutes, run for 5 minutes, and towards the end, I was increasing it. So then I'd walk for the walking stays at 5 minutes, but then I'd run for 8 minutes, walk for 5 minutes, run for 8 minutes, walk for 5 minutes until it hit my time. And then I do 10 minutes, or walk for 5 minutes, run for 10 minutes, walk for 5 minutes, run for 10 minutes. And when you hit the 10-minute mark, that's when you can really make the jumps. So from 10 minutes, I went to 15, and then from 15, I went to 25 minutes. But running on a treadmill is completely different to running outside. And if you've never done it, have never experienced it, it's 2 different things. Like, even though you're running, but it is so much different. So I've done that for the first 2 weeks, and in that first 2 weeks, it was hard because I couldn't be asked to exercise. I didn't want to exercise. I had all the other stuff that I was trying to do, which is my business, working for a company called Dent, which is a brilliant company. So trying to incorporate all that stuff. I've got a baby that I've got to look after most days of the week, which I absolutely love and adore. And when I have him, I spend all my time with him, and I try not to do anything else. And then so it's just trying to incorporate everything within your lifestyle, but you just have to make it work. But then after doing it, your body gets adapted to it, gets used to it, starts enjoying the endorphins. And I like training in the morning, because when you train in the morning, you just get out of the way, you feel great for the rest of the day. And Also, what I also really love is I love waking up before the sun rises, getting out training, and as I'm training, the sun rises come up, or it gets lighter, and it's like, yeah, I beat the sun, but it's just a great feeling. Because when you go out before the sun rises, normally no one's out, and it's quite peaceful, it's quite enjoyable, and it's probably the freshest time of the day, and it's just lovely. It's just lovely. So when you're ready, it's the day can start. And also by doing it in the morning, you've got it out the way. And not only have you got it out the way, if you've got time later on in the evening to do a little bit extra, you can put it in. But you don't have to. It's not mandatory, but you have the option to do so. So that first couple of weeks towards the end of January, and then towards the end of January, I go to the second level, which is then you've got to increase your intensity. So now I want to try and learn to train, or get myself training for 1 hour consistently with my heart rate at a high level. So, and also make sure I'm incorporating for the half Ironman. So now what I'm doing, I'm swimming twice a week, a minimum of twice a week. Remember when I said if I got any extra time, then normally I do swimming, something I really like, and it's one of my strongest attributes. The second thing, I'm running 3 times a week, a minimum of 3 times a week, and I'm incorporating strength and conditioning once a week. And there's 2 types, and let me go through them. So the way I do the swimming, when I first started swimming, previously I used to be able to go into the gym for like 17 hours. Well, that's not true, but I used to be able to go to the gym for like quite a few hours, and I'd jump in the swimming pool and I'd swim a mile, no problem. However, fitness has dropped, health has dropped, and now trying to swim a mile, not only is it hard, but it's quite daunting on the mind, because swimming a mile is 64 lengths of a 25 metre pool, and swimming 64 lengths is like, that's quite hard work. Just, you've got 1 length, now I've got 63 to go, 2 length, got 62 to go, 3 lengths. So that's why it's one of the reasons why it's so hard. So there's 2 things that you do with the swimming. One, I try and complete a mile with as quick as possible, and however long I got left of the hour, I just fill it up with just little gentle swim, easy swim, whatever I need to do. But the way I do it, I break it up, and a really good way of breaking it up, to start off with, I split it. So there's 3 different strokes I do: front crawl, backstroke, and breaststroke. And there you can do something called a pyramid. So what happens, you swim 1 length of 1 crawl, which is front crawl, you swim the second length of the crawl, which is backstroke, and the third length of breaststroke, and do 1 lap each only. After that, you then do 2 laps of front crawl, and then 2 laps of breaststrokes, and then 2 laps of backstrokes, and then you do 3 laps of front crawl, 3 laps of breaststroke, and you can keep doing that and keep increasing it up to 6 lengths. And if you do it up to 6 lengths, then collectively you end up doing 63 lengths. So you just have to do 1 length at the end to hit your 64. And what it does, it helps break it down, and it helps break that 64th down. So when you're counting, you're only counting up to 1, or you're only counting up to 2, and you've got different goals. And there's 2 different ways. So one, you can go up, so you can go from 1 to 6, or you can really play in your mind and you go from 6 to 1. So you keep reversing it, changing it, and don't settle, because your body adapts to things. So if it's used to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you change it up and go from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it shocks the body. The body's like, why are you doing this? I'm only used to doing 1 lap at the beginning, and now you're doing 6 laps. So that really helps. But also, when I swim for an Ironman, the whole 1.2 miles is going to be front crawl. So as I'm increasing, I am changing it. So recently it goes from, lately I went from 6 laps of front crawl, now I'm doing 10 laps of front crawl, and then 5 laps of breaststroke, and then I do another 10 straight away, 10 front crawl, and then 5 laps of backstroke, and then 10 strokes of front crawl, and then 5 laps of front breaststroke. So I'm alternating the front crawl, the breaststroke and the backstroke, but every other one is front crawl. So the next time I go in, I'm going to do 15 laps front crawl, 5 laps of breaststroke, 15 laps front crawl, 5 laps of backstroke, and then I'll increase it to 20 laps and then 25 lengths. I keep increasing it. But the reason why I do different strokes, because it hits different parts of the body, and you're not only focused on the one section of the part, which is front crawl, if you're only doing front crawl. So twice a week a minimum. Sometimes I get 3, sometimes I'm lucky and get 4. The next thing is run 3 times a week, which is the most important thing I need to do. Get the miles underneath the feet. When I said you got to train harder, fight easy. With this, it's quite hard. I'm not going to run 13 miles every day because that will take a quite toll on my body, and it will probably destroy my body and do more damage than good. So what I do is I train the mind. And the way I train the mind, so when I went out there, I just ran 1k, and that was hard. That was like really, really hard. And, you know, someone as a fitness professional, you'd think you should be able to do it quite easy. However, everyone's fitness levels drops and they never stay, but the mindset does. So that's why I love training the mindset, try and train people for the mindset rather than the actual fitness or the actual six-pack. So I started off with doing 1k. I've gone up to 2, so 1k, you know, half kilometre run, sorry, half 1k run, half kilometre walk, 2k run, half kilometre walk, 3k run, 1 kilometre walk, which was today. And then the next day is going to be a 4k run, and it's only going to be a half a kilometre walk. So what I'm doing, every time I'm going for a run, I'm pushing myself that little further because I only feel like I can only do 3k. And the thought of doing running 4k consistently, not stopping, feels impossible and feels next to impossible. But you just have to get it done. And I'll keep increasing that, and I'll do that up to probably about 6 or 7 miles. And then when I hit 6 or 7 miles, the aim will just be trying to get them 6 or 7 miles faster, and push your mind to the point where you have to run that faster and get it in faster times. And the best way to do it is there's a running app. I'll put the link, or I'll put the description of what the running app is. And when you put your headphones on, it tells you, you know, 1k, and it tells you what time you've done the 1k, and then it tells you at 2k over the top of your music. And then the days that you're not running, you should know what they are, because if you run in the same route, it's good to change route, but if you're running the same route, you'll know that point is 1k, that point's 2k. The only thing you're not going to know is the time, but it's not a problem. So pushing your mind, doing that, I'm going to be doing that consistently until I hit about 6 or 7 miles, and then I'll go faster until I've done a half Ironman, and then I'm going to change it up. The next thing is strength conditioning. So I want to strengthen my muscles, and there's 2 types of way of doing it. One, I try and get the strength up with an unbelievably wicked session. Let me go back to the route. It's good to change a route. The reason why it's good to change a route is because your body adapts. So if you're always running on a flat road and then you race on an uphill, your body's going to be destroyed. If you change a route quite regularly, then your body will get used to the change. So I'm not changing my route until I can run 6k kilometers, 10k kilometers without stopping. And then once I can run 10k, I'll be changing my route probably nearly every single session. So I'll be trying to find places with hills and different ways of going. Just it messes up your mind a little bit, a bit like the swimming. But back to strength and conditioning. So 2 types. 1, strength my body. 2, conditioning my body. So the one type of session I do is it's a superset. There's 4 tough workout. So the phone was just telling me something there. So the first workout is, there's 4 exercises. Actually, there's 8 exercises, but 2 exercises back to back. So the first exercise is bench press straight into push-ups, and you do 3 to 5 reps of bench press, but as the push-ups are body weight, you do up to 10. Okay, and you want to increase the weights. You want to get to the weight where it's very hard to hit 5 repetitions. So at 4 repetition, you kind of want to quit. The 5th repetition is you're struggling to the point where you cannot get it. You finish the rep of that exercise, and as soon as you finish, you drop to your knees and you do 10 push-ups. If you can't do 10 push-ups, you go onto your knees and do the knee push-ups, but you make sure you hit 10. The second exercise, you do squats with the barbells, and then you do lunges. So 10 lunges. And what I do 10 lunges on one leg and then 10 lunges on the next legs. So sorry, if I said 10 lunges, 10 squats, it's actually 3 to 5 squats. 3 to 5 squats, heavy weight. You want to be struggling to get to that 5th weight. As soon as you finish, you do 10 lunges on each leg, and then you rest. You rest no longer between 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds. Sorry, that's not true. You actually rest a little bit longer, around about 2 minutes for that, for the strength. The third exercise is deadlifts and pull-ups. So you do 3 to 5 deadlifts. Again, the 5th deadlift should be incredibly hard. And then the pull-ups, if you can't do pull-ups, you can use their machines that you put your knees on and they help push you up, or you can get elastic bands or the resistance bands that will help you, or just help get someone to guide you. And make sure you do 10. So you might have to drop, shake your arms, do 1, drop, shake your arms, make sure you hit 10 repetitions. The fourth one is bent over rope with the barbell, 3 to 5 repetitions, and then dips. And that's just body weight, and you want to do 10 dips. Same again, you can use that same machine where you put your knees on, it pushes you down, you push you up, or you can get someone to help you, or you can get the resistance band. But make sure you do 10, do 3 sets of each, and that is 1 kilo of a workout. And your aim is trying to increase the weights each time you do that exercise. And the second type of exercise is just conditioning. So you want light weights but really high reps, and I change up. This session I change up all the time. So sometimes I'll do something called like 100 reps or 1,000 reps. So I completely split my whole body up, and normally it's just body weights, and I've used a few little, I'm just thinking of the fly here, a few little weights. So for example, I'll want to do 100 reps of push-ups, I want to do 100 reps of squats, 100 reps of deadlifts, 100 reps of kettlebell swings, 100 reps of jump squats, like really, or box jumps, 100 reps of, what else could you do? Dips, pull-ups. You want to split your whole body up, so you want to hit your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, both sides, your legs, your quads, your glutes, your booty, and then you just split it up. It doesn't really matter how you do it, you just want to get it done as fast as you can, and then you want to fill the rest of the hour up with something like light walk, light jog, a row machine for instance. But the second part, the second strength conditioning, is to condition the body but also condition the mind. Put things into place where it is going to be incredibly hard, but once you finish, you train your mind to the point where it's help pushing you, that you want to get to the stage where you feel like you want to quit, like halfway you want to quit and you've got half of it left. Because you finished the other half, it pushes your mind further so you can do more. So that's pretty much it, and that's the exercising for the challenges for the half Ironman. And then once I've finished our 15k mud run, I'll explain exactly how I'm incorporating the exercising, a bit like this again, and I will explain what else I'm doing different to make sure I keep my mind on Horizon, which is the half Ironman coming up. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you do have any questions, please let me know. You know, they said to use natural sunlight, which is great, but I've seen it keep going up and down, so it's completely affecting the video, and this is great sunlight at the moment. However, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you took away from it, what you learned from it. If you liked it, tell your friends. If you didn't like it, tell me, so I know what to make better for the next video. And if you are someone who's trying to escape a body, there's going to be some sort of instructions below with a link to be able to get in contact, and I'll help you get on track and change your lifestyle, and just not your diet, and help you escape a body that you may feel trapped in. Have a great day, guys, and get training.